111. 20th-Century Plans of Salvation. Chalcedon Report number 411, October 1999. Over the centuries, a variety of plans of salvation have governed men. The most common in antiquity has been salvation by politics, as in ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome. The classic statement of this salvation was Plato's Republic. In the 20th century, this plan has been in full force, and its early prophet was Woodrow Wilson with his dream of world salvation by means of a world state. Wilson's work was the prelude to the greatest growth of imperialism. Another 20th century plan of salvation has been education, statist, humanistic education, and its prophet was John Dewey. Statist education, he believed, would remake man and create the true humanistic society. World peace and prosperity would prevail. Other plans of salvation were also in evidence. After prophets Freud and Jung, men would be remade and would learn to live in peace with their sin. Wilson and Dewey hoped to overcome evil by their philosophies, whereas Freud and Jung saw redefining man and sin as a solution. Other plans of salvation have also been in evidence. As the 21st century looms, all are clearly failures. They cannot intelligently nor morally define good or evil, nor successfully change men into a new creation. The 21st century thus begins with a great challenge and heritage of moral failure, a failure which time and history have not solved, but only magnified. There is no evidence of a resort to the biblical solution. Salvation is not by human action, but by God's grace. Statist grace is, however, what man wants. Every session of a Congress or Parliament sees billions appropriated as a manifestation of statist grace. Grace is now essentially monetary rather than religious. Religions of state, school, money or the like are proven failures and will be increasingly more so. The world rejects salvation in rejecting Christ. We need to be speaking openly and freely about false plans of salvation if the 21st century is not to be a continuation of the 20th century, an age of death and tyranny. It is an error of the 20th century to limit salvation to man's soul. It means that and much, much more. It is the regeneration also of every area of life and thought by the power of God and the submission of all things to the triune God and His law word. The world has become Catholic or universal in its claims, while the Church has become provincial. It is time for a change.